Sunday afternoon, a holiday weekend at the ballpark. There are a couple of Reds fans in town, but a lot of purple. 37+ thousand last night. Left a little disappointed as the Rockies fell to the Reds 8-3, and Todd Helton did not get his 2,500th hit. But today is a new day. Rockies trying to take 2 of 3 from Dusty Baker's Reds. And we welcome you upstairs. Happy Sunday afternoon to one and all with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. We begin today talking about the return of Tyler Chatwood, who's really had a breakout season. It'll be good to see him back on a mound, first time in a month.
Well, I think a lot of times when you have a lot of great natural ability, you just use that to get to the big leagues. Once you're here, you've got to learn how to do it. Well, he's learned how. 7-4 overall record, 15 starts, 315 earned run average. Mike Leake on the year, 11-5 with a 327. Their ball club 15-11 when he makes his 26 starts on the hill. This is a very good young matchup of two very good young pitchers. And Chatwood, going back to when he pitched against the Cincinnati Reds, where he went 4 innings, the forearm tightened up. He had a shutout going at that time. Would like to complete that, but it's the evolution of the hard sinker, the ground balls, the defense behind him has been outstanding. Learning how to shorten up innings. When you throw 95 as a young player, you want to strike everybody out. That's not the case with Tyler Chatwood now. He's realizing 95 pitches in 7 innings with 10 ground ball outs is better than 95 pitches in 5 innings with 5 or 10 punch outs.
Very quickly, I think he has a chance, George, to be a 15-16 game winner.
Oh, no question, Drew. I think that's absolutely right because he's learned more about himself than he has anything else.
Very good. So Chatwood on the mound today, completing his warm-up pitches in the bullpen. When we come back, we have more on number 17's pursuit of number 2,500. Central. Rockies at 64-73. Todd Helton is in the lineup this afternoon against Mike Leake, looking for career hit number 2,500. Now, you and I both chatted with him before the game in the clubhouse, and he admitted that he tried a little too hard yesterday.
Oh, and there's no question he did. Swung some pitches out of the zone. You don't see that he swings at. I mean, that's somebody that's trying to accomplish and get it out of the way. A great hitter, and he got out of his circle. He got outside the circle and tried to do something that he's not capable and doesn't like to do, and I think that's why you'll see a different guy today. Not only that, he's hitting 750 against Leake in his career. It's a good number.
That's a good number. that's a good number in slow pitch softball. Well, let's hear what some of his teammates are saying about Helton's pursuit of 2,500.
There's just examples of the kind of career he's had. You know, I don't know how many people have gotten to 2,500 hits, but that's pretty impressive. You know, he's probably the best hitter I've ever seen, ever will see. So, you know, I consider it a pleasure to have been playing with him for all these years.
I think I just cherish my time with him, you know, in this locker room, in the dugout, just talking to him off the field. I'm definitely going to remember him, you know, as a player all the time, him picking my balls or coming up with big hits, but I think I'm more valuing just the time I get to spend with him.
He may get a curtain call, who knows, but he's not the type to look into what will happen, and neither am I, being his friend in that regard. And just knowing him, he wants to maybe tip his hat and let's go play defense now. So I hope for him, just out of a jealous standpoint, that the game pauses and we give him a standing O, but he's all business.
When it happens, and it will happen, it will be one of those very special moments.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a special moment. But he's right about Todd. I mean, you know, as much time as I spent with him away from the ballpark, we don't talk a lot about baseball. I mean, that's not something first and foremost on his mind. It's all about the family and life and the game, and he loves the game. But you're right. They better give him a standing ovation, or I'm coming out of the booth.
No, they'll give him a standing ovation. They did the other night when he punched out in his final at bat. So Todd Helton pursues 2,500. The Rockies are in pursuit of taking this series against the Reds. Colorado, Cincinnati. Come on back to 20th and Blake with us. All on Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 of Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pleasant day at Coors Field. And Todd Helton leading the Rockies out on the field as Tyler Chatwood will be on the bump today. First time since July 31st in Atlanta, Georgia, when he lasted just 2 1/3 innings. His elbow was bothering him. He got beat up that day. 8 runs, 7 earned, 10 hits. Shin-Soo Choo will lead things off again for the Reds. He's batting .281, and here's the rest of Dusty Baker's Southwest batting order. Brandon Phillips, who nearly had a cycle last night, will bat second. Then Joey Votto and Jay Bruce. Then some changes. Devin Mesoraco will bat fifth. Chris Heisey's in the lineup. He'll bat sixth. Jack Hanahan at third base. Zach Cozart will play shortstop, and Mike Leake is a very good hitting pitcher.
Tyler Chatwood will take the mound. We've talked an awful lot about it. 7-4 overall record, .315 earned run average. He made a start back on June 3rd against the Cincinnati Reds. 4 innings, 4 hits, a run. He walked 1, struck out 4. He left that ball game after 64 pitches with right tricep soreness. But everything back to normal now. The fastball nearly up to 93 miles an hour, and that's what he'll utilize the majority of the time. The changeup starting to show up a little bit more, but the curveball slider mix. But it's going to be the fastball that near 93, touch 96 will be the prominent pitch.
And Choo has the most experience against Tyler Chatwood. Choo with Cleveland when Chatwood was with the Angels and they faced each other. Choo is 0 for 8 lifetime against Tyler Chatwood. A little cooler than it's been, 73 degrees. And the first pitch of the afternoon is down low, ball 1. Brian O'Nora is the home plate umpire. Fielding Colbreth at first, Jordan Baker at second, and Adrian Johnson's at third. And that's back up the middle of base hit. So Choo reaches. Cincinnati got off to a fast start yesterday. They scored 2 runs in the first frame against Juan Nicasio, who has some control issues early. Today's defense for the Rockies brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Dickerson in left, Charlie Blackmon in the middle, Michael Kadire in right. Dex is still out with that sore knee. Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Helton, and Torrey Alba doing the catching. Wilin Rosario at least getting the initial part of the afternoon off. Brandon Phillips at the plate. Outside. Brandon yesterday in his first 3 at bats went triple, home run, double, and he had 2 shots at producing what is the easiest hit of all to get. Easy for us to say up here, a single, and he did not get a single in his final 2 ABs. I like what he said afterward. You look at Brandon Phillips' evening. This was a great effort by Blackmon, but ends up a triple, and then this ball was smoked to right center field, and then he very nearly hit his double out off the upper third of the left field wall. Brandon Phillips, after the ball game, said, you know, it was fun and everything. He goes, but tonight was about Greg Reynolds. He said it was a great day for Greg. This is blooped foul down the right field line.
Well, and it's a fair statement, too. When their bullpen had to have 4 guys to get through the game of the night before. Now you got a young guy coming up. He's a former number 2 pick in all the drafts, as you look at Greg on your screen, and of the Rockies. And he, honestly, a failure here. Didn't live up to those expectations. The pressure of all that coming into it, the pressure of a pennant race, the pressure of Pittsburgh beating St. Louis, all that was out in front of him. 8 innings, 3 runs. He was outstanding.
1-2 on Phillips. Brandon's hitting 4 straight, 8 for his last 18. Phillips actually became the first player, George, in more than a year to have the 3 most difficult elements of a cycle in their first 3 at bats: double, triple, home run. The last to do it was Adrian Beltre of the Rangers, and he ultimately got the single.
The difference right now for Chatwood than what it was a year ago, or even his first year in the big leagues with the Angels, is he's working to shorten this inning up. Hard sinkers, hard sliders, down in the zone, ground ball, trying to get the double play ball.
2-2, runner going, and the throw is not going to get Chu, and it's 17 stolen bases now for Shin-Soo Choo.
Torrealba this year, 24% of them have been thrown out with Torrealba behind the plate this year. 9 successful. This will be the 10th. 10 out of 38 attempts. Ball's going to take a short hop and tail to the second base side. LeMahieu was trying to pick, kept it clean, and then be able to apply the tag. If they do, it all works great on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. The ball was not picked cleanly.
Three-two on Phillips. Ball 4. And now they're 2 on and nobody out.
I expect a little bit of rustiness from Tyler Chatwood. This ball had a late run on it. Torrealba tried to keep it there inside the strike zone, held it even after Phillips had walked away from home plate towards first.
So Joey Votto comes to the plate, 2 for his last 15. Career .362 hitter, however, at Coors Field. And he's usually pretty patient at the plate.
St. Louis returning the favor on Pittsburgh, 7-1 in the 8th. St. Louis.
That series, George, is playing out a little bit like the Reds-Cardinals series did. Cardinals won the first 2 against the Reds. Reds were in a situation where they desperately needed to win the final game, and they crushed St. Louis. Pittsburgh beat up St. Louis the first 2 games of the series. Now St. Louis really gotten after the Pirates this afternoon.
Talking to a few of the players downstairs, look what the Rockies did to the Pirates. They win 2 out of 3. If they win today, 2 out of 3 at the Reds. Cardinals are coming in later in the month. Dodgers are coming in. You can be pretty disruptive to that central standings.
That's a nice job by DJ. They're going to turn it over. I'm shocked by that. I didn't think the ball was hit hard enough. At first, I didn't think DJ would have any play but go to first. And the Rockies turn over a 4-6-3 double play. Man, that was terrific.
It was, because Phillips disrupted the first flight of the baseball, and then Tulowitzki's arm strength just flips it over on Votto. You can see that Phillips is going to go in. He's going to try to break this double play up, but then Tulowitzki just airs it out. The Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, how close was this? Really about a step and a half. Step anyway, I should say.
Dangerous Jay Bruce at the plate. He's got 87 RBIs, and this is a routine ground ball to short. Nice job by Chatwood, speaking of shortening up the inning. 15th ground ball double play he's induced this year. Corey had a 2-run home run late last night, his 3rd of the year. No doubter to the 2nd deck in right. Take a look at Walt's lineup today on a Sunday afternoon. It's presented by Southwest Airlines. DJ LeMahieu will bat second. DJ gave way to Johnny Herrera yesterday. Troy Tulowitzki, Michael Kadire, Todd Helton in the middle. Nolan Arenado, Torrealba, and the red-hot Charlie Blackmon. Hitting .379 over his last 10. He's a .500 clip on this homestand. And Mike Leake's a guy that's always around the plate. Big star at Arizona State. He got to the big leagues quickly.
Got here very quickly and has won a lot of baseball games. Typically a 5th starter is what you would look at. Stuff would tell you that. Numbers tell you he's a number 2 or 3. It seems like every year he goes out and wins a lot of ball games. Fastball average right at 90. Curveball, changeup, slider. Curveball more prevalent, even though the numbers kind of say they're close to the same. He'll go to the curveball a lot. Now here at altitude, he may go back to that changeup and work ahead. Surprising a little bit, but there wasn't much Dusty could do about it. Dusty Baker, manager of the Reds. His stuff and Reynolds' stuff a lot alike. And you get back to back like that, it's just like getting extra bats, you know, against same type of stuff. Leake may have a little bit better command than Greg, although last night Greg was very good.
Well, there's a good command. He hit the outside corner twice. It's 0-2 on Dickerson.
Leake, not somebody that wants to strike out a bunch of people, 99 and 165 innings. But he is somebody that wants to induce ground ball outs early. 0-2. They're going to elevate, chase it. Hard pitch for a left-handed hitter to get on.
He was a first-round pick out of ASU. Great success out of ASU. The scouting report, George, I think was right on, because I recall it pretty well. And it basically was he's the most major league ready pitcher in the draft. He probably could go from Tempe right to the big leagues, but the upside is such that, you know, he's a middle of the rotation guy at best. And it's not a knock. It's just say he's a first-round guy, but you don't expect him to go and win 20 ball games and punch out 220.
Well, let history tell you how many first-round draft picks that have first-round stuff or front end of the rotation guys end up being those guys.
Yeah,
very few.
Well, Greg Reynolds is an example
right,
now.
But for him, he was a strike thrower with 4 pitches that had won 16 games in college. A fierce competitor.
Pitching a lot of big ball games for ASU.
Oh, he's not scared.
Career high in victories, 12 in 2011, and he's sitting on 11 wins right now. High fly ball. Oh, you know what? This is not seen. It's going to drop at Dickerson at second base. Bruce never saw the baseball. Trying to communicate that to Brandon Phillips, and Chu couldn't get there.
I don't think Brandon Phillips did either, because he turned twice. Turned to his right, back to the left, back to the right to try to find the baseball. High swing, big swing by Corey Dickerson. And with this high kind of a gray sky here today, it made it difficult to pick the baseball. See, there goes. You can see Phillips turning around different ways to try to get to it. He was so far away from the ball, it dropped 6 feet to his right. Dickerson recognizing it, continued to hustle on the second.
And good for Corey Dickerson that he ran hard the whole way. There's a lot of guys that'd be standing on first right now, but he plays the game right, and it goes as a double.
And with a guy like Leake on the mound, you can't give the opposition extra outs.
No.
Now take advantage of that mistake by them.
DJ's so good at working the baseball the other way. Be trying to do that right now. A little surprised that Chu a couple steps towards the pull side in the outfield. He does it exactly right, and the catch is made, and Dickerson did not tag, and I was surprised by that.
I mean, here's the thing about it. As a base runner, you can tag and still score if he misses the baseball. Pretty obvious you're going to be able to do that. Dickerson went halfway. So by getting out here in this area, I mean, he took off running, thinking that the ball's not going to be caught. And Bruce does make a great catch on the baseball. But even if he doesn't catch it, you could still score on a ball hit like that. Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So see, when this ball's hit, he's coming over too far instead of going back, because you're not going to be able to tag and be able to go back. So the advancement cost you there.
And typically with nobody out, you're going to tag. With one out, you can go halfway. Corey probably would do that a different way had he had it over again. Troy Tulowitzki now at the plate. It's about the fourth nice catch Jay Bruce has made in this series. Makes up, I guess, for the one he didn't see a moment ago. Two-strike count on Tulowitzki. Watch Jay Bruce. Watch the water cooler. Watch this. Hey, wait a second.
I think he did it on purpose. I think he threw his hip into it. Scahill and Ottavino were nice enough to clean the mess up, put it all back together.
Foul tip, and it was held by Mesoraco. 2 outs. That'll bring up Kadire, who was 1 for 4 last night. Good sinker. 0-1 on Kadire.
Leake can be very sneaky at times. That fastball at 91 with the late run and sink. But he's going to pitch at the 88 to 90 range with movement.
Down the line, and Michael Kadire is going to drive home Corey Dickerson with a double of his own. RBI 69 for Kadire, and the Rockies have a 1-0 first inning lead. 27th double for Michael. And guess who's coming to bat?
Well, we mentioned Helton 3 for 4 against Leake. You get a chance to not only get the hit, but drive in a run.
Todd said earlier, he said, you know what? He said, I want to get this thing over with. He goes, a base hit to left, a swinging bunt. That fly ball that's going to be caught in foul ground by Heisey. Rockies get a pair of doubles, one a give double, but the Rockies take advantage. 1-0. the second inning. Here are the DirecTV National League West standings. You know who's on top, and they're coming to town tomorrow. The Dodgers 10.5 up on Arizona. The Rockies are in third, 17 back, and the Padres and Giants both with 60 and 75 records. And the Giants in Arizona are playing right now. San Diego's in LA. Devin Mesoraco takes ball one. And the Dodgers made another move today, and this is a good looking move. Michael Young waived his no trade right with Philadelphia, and he moves to LA. And you know, Michael Young's not the same guy that led the American League in hits a couple years ago with the Texas Rangers, but a salty veteran hitter that can play a lot of places in the infield. He's hitting in the mid-270s for Philadelphia.
But the key is he's been down the road with the Rangers in the playoff, the pennant, the pressure, all that stuff. World Series, he's been there already. So it's not something about, you know, going to be a difficult deal. They picked up double-A pitcher from the Dodgers, Robert Rasmussen, out of Chattanooga, who was there throwing for them.
He's having a good year, in fact, at Chattanooga. Last year was a bit of a bumpy ride, former #2 pick. Mesoraco hits it in the air to center field. Charlie Blackmon has it lined up. Coming up in the 5th inning, we do it every day. Toyota Talk. You can fire away questions at us. Here's how you get involved. Text the word Toyota followed by your question, 720-720. And again, we'll get to those during Toyota Talk in the 5th inning. Chris Heisey at the plate. And ground ball, tough chance. DJ LeMahieu dives, couldn't come up with it. Second hit for Cincinnati. And that'll bring up Jack Hanahan. Hanahan, left hand hitting third baseman. Hitting .215. Auto glass damage, call Safelight Auto Glass. The phone number is 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. His last start was a week ago on Sunday. One strike on Hanahan. Jack looking down at Mark Berry. Good to see Mark back on the third base coaching lines. Mark missed the first few months of the season as the runner takes off. Hit and run is on, and they'll still try to turn it. Safe there, out at first. And boy, I thought that little flip may have beaten Heisey. No real argument from Tulowitzki.
Well, there was no argument from him at all here, but now you can see the foot. Yeah, he beat it. Good position by Jordan Baker, the second base umpire.
Two outs. Zach Cozart at the plate. So 4-6-3 on that put out. Pick plays on. And that was close. You know, a guy stands up, you think, oh, it's not that close. That was pretty close.
Well, it was close, but also it's all about timing between pitcher and shortstop, and you've got to be able to put it right over the top of the bag. When a play gets put on like this in the minor leagues, you're taught as a pitcher. You wheel and throw, and you throw it over the middle of the bag. If he's not there, it's on the shortstop. Don't hesitate to throw.
Check swing, foul ball. As mentioned, Mark Berry at third base, been battling cancer. He's doing much better. And there's Mark. Mark's been in this game a long time, and a long time on the third base coaching lines.
You start to think of some of these great third base coach, Tim Flannery, Glenn Hoffman, guys have been doing it a long, long time. Tim Wallach with the Dodgers.
To DJ on a clean hop. Good inning for Chatwood. He gave up the ground ball base hit to Heisey. That was it. We'll go to the bottom of the second. The Rockies leading 1-0. Smoked Fish Company, a ready to eat energizing superfood. You can add any dish that's healthy and delicious. Hey, Mark Stout, what's going on?
Guys, today all about Todd Helton trying to get that hit number 2,500. The guys in the bullpen, a lot of downtime down there, but they'll be ready when Todd comes to the plate again.
That's when we shut up and pay attention, so that if he gets the hit, we can, we're all rooting for it. So, we're pulling for him to get that hit.
I hope for him, just out of a jealous standpoint, that the game pauses and we give him a standing O, but he's all business.
So we're going to look at the bullpen right now. You can see Belial brothers, they sit up top to the left, and then a bunch of the other guys are down below. That's just their vantage point. That's what they're used to, and they'll be ready to go when Todd comes up again. So just a little perspective from the guys in the pen.
There you go. There's going to be a whole lot of excited folks, not only in uniform, but in the crowd and watching at home. Here's the 1-0 to Nolan Arenado. Nolan crunches it. Deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Nolan Arenado with his 10th of the year. What a rookie season for Arenado. 2-0 Colorado.
And it just continues to get better on a daily basis for Nolan Arenado. Ball up out over the middle of the plate to Arenado, and he doesn't miss those.
Torey Alba at the plate. Torey fouls one off.
Never get tired of watching that.
Well, with that home run, he's got 10 home runs. He's also got 45 ribbies, hit 270. But let's talk defense for a second. I was looking at this morning, George, and in my mind, I know there's a month of baseball left, but right now, and I know we're biased, we see him every day, he ought to win the Gold Glove, and here's why. Total chances per 9 innings, 3.36. It's first among National League third basemen who started at least 100 games. Fielding percentage, #1 among third basemen who started at least 100 games. And then the zone rating, that gives you an idea of how many baseballs he's getting to, as does total chances. That is by far the highest among third basemen in the National League. So they're bigger names here. David Wright, certainly.
Zimmerman.
Ryan Zimmerman, but Zimmerman can't throw anymore. He's made 19 errors this year. That's eliminated him.
Right.
There's a guy who's had a breakout year in Atlanta, Chris Johnson, and he's playing for a very good team, the Braves. And so many voters, unfortunately, don't do their homework and they vote for a guy with great offensive numbers. Johnson's a good defender. Not saying he's not. But this kid, if you break down the numbers, he ought to win a Gold Glove.
I would agree with you. I just think it's gotten better every day, and the understanding of the hitters and having a pitching staff pitch to the defense. And the wear and tear that he's taken off of Tulowitzki at shortstop with his coverage.
And most double plays started in the National League. Nolan, he's got 24 of them.
Ooh.
And the one guy who understands Mesoraco's pain is #8.
Looked like he caught it right on that right shoulder off the bat. Right on the collarbone. That's even worse.
Frazier, you know how at the end of a football game, the quarterbacks always get together, right? You see the head coaches get together, and then the two quarterbacks always get together. Well, it's that way with catchers.
Get together. How'd that feel? You all right? I'm all right. Let's go. Torrey Alba doing a courtesy thing there. Ask him, you okay? And he said, yeah, I'm all right. Let's go.
Yeah, they're in the same club. 3-2 on Torrey. Great curveball. Man, that's a nasty curveball right there. The Torrey should go back to him and say, listen, if I'm going to wait, don't be dropping one off on me like that.
I'm really trying to be nice to you about everything. You need to do something like that to me. Why are you going to do that? It was nasty. See the knees buckle, the shoulders turn backwards, not knowing in a fastball count that he would be able to throw this breaking ball for the strike on a Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mode. Puts it right where you want it.
That's one of your favorite lines, George. That was a snapdragon curveball.
You ain't lying.
Charlie Blackmon at the plate. Charlie's in a good place offensively. Broken bat as this is gobbled up by Hanahan. 2 outs. Charlie, you didn't stick around long enough for me to brag on you. We'll have a chance later. Tyler Chatwood with 2 gone. Rockies up 2-0. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And that's from the Wells Fargo club level. It's a strike on Tyler. He's got a gaudy 323 average, and he's driven in 7 this year. 2-strike count. And Tyler went. In the inning, Nolan Arenado with his 10th of the year. And the Rockies have a 2-0 lead through a pair of innings at Coors Field on a very fine Sunday afternoon. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives, your local consumer-owned electric cooperative delivering reliable power, energy-saving tools, and more. Visit TogetherWeSave.com. Brother Rex with another save. Slider against the Giants for a punch-out. Another punch-out. And ground ball to second to end it. Rex Brothers getting the save on Wednesday against the Giants. And you know what? In about the 8th inning, they're going to ask somebody to warm up, and they're going to say, where are all the pills? And say, well, Rex threw them all to the fans.
He was hungry, wanted a hot dog. Okay? It's the oldest trick in the world.
Is that how you traded it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike Leake's at the plate. Tyler Chatwood gets a swinging strike. Well, Leake and Chatwood have something in common. They can both swing the bat. In fact, Leake has 56 hits since he arrived in the big leagues. Oh, don't grab it with your hand. He did. That's not smart. Base hit by Leake. And here comes Scotty Garrett out to check on Chatwood. Did you ever do that, George?
Yeah, I was dumb. I mean, it's just what.
I mean, it's your reaction.
It's all a
reaction.
I get it. It's just a reaction. The ball's hit right back at you again. You just reach out there to grab it. The thing is, what happens, you got to keep your hand wide open if you're going to do something like that, but you don't do that. I mean, I caught him right on the ball of the hand. It looked like it. I mean, hopefully that's not one of those deals. Let's look on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Ooh, right on the thumb. You know, that's where you get a busted thumb. It swells immediately. A lot of things can happen with it. And you try to throw a few pitches here, see how it feels, the pressure on the ball. There's all kinds of things right now. But that's a reaction from a pitcher. Just stick your hand out there. And after you leave it out there and it hits it, you go, why did I do that? What was I thinking about?
I was saying that Leake, since he arrived, has more hits than any pitcher in baseball.
What I don't like what I'm seeing right now is where the location of the ball's showing up. The location, the last two high, catcher's head and higher. Yeah, there you go. A little bit better with that hard sinker. Because see, as you throw a baseball, you feel that pressure on your thumb pushing it. It's pushing against the ball the whole time. It's really kind of a control part of the baseball.
And you know what, George? This indicates to me that it hurts him a little bit, because a lot of times what you see a guy, he'll throw one pitch, maybe two.
They're making sure, and he's making sure.
Yeah.
It's a double street here.
Yeah, hopefully it's not an issue. Chatwood gives up the single to Leake. 57 hits for Leake since he arrived 4 years ago. And 2 of the last 3 years, he's led all National League pitchers in batting average. So he has a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Shin-Soo Choo, who had a base hit up the middle leading off the ball game. Two and one. Doing a little math, George. On a Sunday. So the current 5 teams that are going to go to the postseason of the National League if the season were to end today. The Dodgers in the West, obviously. The Braves in the National League East. And then the 3 teams in the Central, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, and Cincinnati. And Cincinnati in 3rd place in the Central, but they're 6 clear of the Arizona Diamondbacks for that final wild card spot. The Rockies this year, listen to this, folks, 7-6 against the Dodgers, 4-2 against the Pirates. Pausing. Here's the 2-2. And this ball's well hit to right field. Kadyr's going to have to, well, he's not going to play. 2-run home run, Choo. And he just tied up this baseball game. His 18th of the year.
We're going to give you another look at the home run hit by Jude. And again, look where the pitch is located. Missed by almost the width of home plate, down and in to a left-handed hitter is one of their power zones. That's where they can get as much leverage as possible to drive the baseball, and that's just what Chu did. 18 home runs now, 44 RBIs for a leadoff hitter.
Brandon Phillips with
go ahead
nobody
and
out.
finish what you're talking about.
So the Rockies are 7-6 against the Dodgers. They're 4-2 against the Pirates. They have the Cardinals coming in a little later in the month. They're 1-2 against St. Louis. They're 3-2 against Cincinnati, pending the outcome of today. An opportunity, obviously, to go to 4-2. The one team of the playoff-bound clubs in the National League that they've not played well against in their season series is done is Atlanta. They went 1-6 against Atlanta. But you add them all up right now, they're 16-18 against teams going to the postseason in the National League. Where the Rockies have faltered is twofold. If you want to break it down in this manner against clubs, they were horrendous against the American League. They have 2 games left against Boston. And they've not done a good job against some of the bottom feeders right now in baseball. And the examples of that, the Houston Astros and the Marlins.
Well, you know, the records don't lie. 4-14 against the American League, 6 games above on the West, 4 game on the Central, and then you're 13-22 against the East and 25-44 out on the road. So it's not hard to look around, see where some of the faults are that you got to improve on.
Well, coming into today, George, the Rockies are dead even against the National League. They're 59-59. They're a 500 club against the National League. And I guess the irony is, for about a 5-year period until last year, they were bad against the American League last year, way inside. Now Phillips walks.
Yeah, you almost got to start thinking about that thumb right now.
Yeah, a home run and a walk since the thumb was bent back.
Now, Jim Wright's going to make a personal trip out, and he's going to have a conversation with Tyler. You start to compensate, that's when you can hurt other parts.
That's not a phone call to see how the weather is.
To see how many hot dogs you got. I'll tell you that right now. It's a call to Bo McLaughlin to look down there and try to make a move on Ottavino, probably. Could be one of those guys they could get up right now. Have him start loosening up. It looked like he was the one that got up to go to the bathroom.
Outside on Votto. I mean, the velocity's still there. The location's not. 94 on that fastball.
Trying to feel now to get that extension.
Two-0. Chu, a 2-run home run to tie things up. Phillips at first with nobody out, and the Reds third. Good pitch.
Yeah, you're trying to work everything away from him, and again, you don't want Votto getting any kind of power on inner half, so you take it and run that sinker down and away. He did a really good job of receiving the ball by Torrey Albert.
He's running full on Votto. Phillips staring down Mark Berry.
Yeah, not surprising. Joey Votto, a guy that works to all parts of the field. Same thing kind of with Buster Posey.
Votto in his career, even though he plays at Great American, there goes Phillips, ball 4. Even though he plays at Great American, he has a higher road average in his career than he does at home. And now 2 straight walks after the home run by Chu. And that'll bring up Jay Bruce. Todd Helton's going to walk over and check on Chatwood.
Buying a little bit of time with him right now. And I mean, Todd's going to talk to him. And if Todd looks and makes a motion to that dugout, you'll have all the time you want to warm up. I think that's why Todd wanted to hear it from out of his mouth. You want to keep going or not? And he keeps saying, I'm okay. I'm all right. I want to go. First 10,000 on September 3rd, you're going to receive a coupon good for a Hebrew National Dollar hot dog night. Get your tickets for this game against the Dodgers. Well, trainer's coming out now, and the manager, and the pitching coach. And, you know, this is where you got to err on a smart side of things. You know, you hope he didn't do something drastic to the hand at all. He's done. They're going to go down to the bullpen.
Got to be really frustrating for Tyler. Took him a month to get back after the tricep strain. And then he instinctively tried to grab a baseball that was lined at him. And he hurt the thumb. So Adam Ottavino will come aboard. So while Ottavino prepares to throw, we'll step aside. 2-2. He's had to depart prematurely today in the 3rd inning, and here's why. Mike Leake led off the inning, hits a line drive. Tyler reached out. The only problem is that's the hand that doesn't have any leather on it. He pitched the next 3 hitters. He gave up a 2-run home run and then walked Phillips and Votto.
And Ottavino saying he's ready to go. Tough for Chatwood. You mentioned this going to the break, what a tough break it is, but Adam Ottavino's going to have to come on and eat up a couple of innings here, at least 3, hopefully. 0-2 record, 68 innings so far for Ottavino. It pitched earlier in this series. Ottavino came in and pitched well, actually, in the series. 2 innings, no hits, a walk and a strikeout.
Now this is going to hurt your bullpen going into that Dodger series, because in a perfect world, Ottavino could give you 3.
Well, with September call-ups too, you're going to grab, I'm sure you'll get 3 to 4 more arms down in the bullpen.
You know what? Good point. And today, by the way, is September 1st. And the Rockies have added Josh Rutledge today.
But the AAA season doesn't end until tomorrow. AAA, AA tomorrow, along with high A and low A. And then your short seasons extend a little bit beyond.
Two strikes to count on Jay Bruce. One and two. Yeah, rosters can expand on September 1st. More to come, but Rutledge was recalled today. Tyler Chatwood was reinstated from the DL.
Rutledge played really well there. 371 average, 4 home runs, had 25 RBIs in the last month that he was there.
Last 30 at bats, he had 500. This is a pop fly to shallow left. Tulo glides out. Tulo's got it.
Well, Harry Ottavino would like to improve on inherited runners that score. That's one of the big things working out of the bullpen. 52% of the time they have not scored. You'd like that number to be up about 70-75% of the time. 85 and above, you're in an elite class of the league.
Devin Mesoraco at the plate, who wants tacos. Remember, when the Rockies score 7 in a game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. Do it between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Mesoraco hit a fly ball to center field, his initial at bat. Phillips at second. Votto's at first. Slider. Swung on and missed.
Last night, Carlos Gonzalez 0 for 3 with a double play ground out and did get on base on an error. He'll extend that playing time again today. They are in Fresno, California with the Colorado Springs Sky Sox.
And he's going to play all 3 with the Sky Sox against Fresno, and then hopefully be ready to go on Tuesday. Roy Oswalt's going to make a rehab start with the Grand Junction Rockies on Tuesday. We talked about Cargo, and Dexter has been out for several days with that bruised knee. Suffered on a slide in the Giant series. Slider, 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 and some more sliders. 1-2 on Mesoraco.
Trusting the slider a lot more than the fastball. And the fastball still ranges up to 93, 94. But he's just got just a nasty slider that right-handed hitters have a difficult time with.
Ground ball deep short. Tulo's got to go to third with it, and getting on the bag was Arenado. Good communication there, and that's the second out. That's the only play Troy had. That's one frequently communicated between a shortstop and third baseman. Going to my right, I may come to you.
And the thing is, Nolan took one step towards the baseball. When he took that one step, now he's got to backpedal in a hurry to get to the bag, and he does just that. He catches the throw, but his left foot was on the bag when he did it on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. You know, he's looking at Tulowitzki. He has to, then he's hunting for the bag. And that's where he caught the baseball, foot's on the corner, and then he backed out of the way as Phillips came in.
Chris Heisey with 2 outs and 2 on in a 2-2 ball game. Heisey a single his first time up. Cardinals won that ball game against the Pirates at PNC today 7-2 to avoid the sweep. Now ball up the middle. Troy's got it. Can he make a play at first? Not in time. Wheel of the play. And Torrey Halba makes the catch. And dead is bottom by 15 feet. Great play, Todd Helton. Tulo kept it in the infield. That was key initially. And Todd's throw to the plate was perfect. That's your basic 6-3-2 to end the inning. Look again.
Play gets him out of that inning, and that brings us to today's all-copy fun fact. And this is one that I really like. It was on this day in 1902 that Tinkers, Evers, and Chance first played together for the Cubs. They're all Hall of Famers. They were immortalized by a poem, of course, about their double play prowess. Well, the Rockies this year have 130 double plays coming into today. That was 6th best in baseball. I looked at double plays with Todd Helton, too, because hopefully this is Todd's day. And in the history of the game, guys, 3 first basemen have been part of over 2,000 double plays. Mickey Vernon, 2,044, Eddie Murray, 2,033, and Todd Helton with 2,007. Not a surprise.
You know what it tells you, too, Mark?
Yes?
That they played on a team that pitchers had a lot of guys on first.
The other thing, too, when you think about 1902, dead ball era, fields
ball's still got to be on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. What was the leading home run hitter in 1902 or whenever you just said that?
It's got to be single digits. I mean, I know.
You got to look it up. You never know.
1927, Babe Ruth hit 60. No other team in the American League hit that many.
He had more than everybody else in the entire league.
Right, in the American League. But
so find out in 02.
25 years later.
I know you'll find out in 02 here in a little bit.
All right.
Two and one on Corey Dickerson against Mike Leake in a 2-2 ball game, bottom of 3. And Dickerson draws a walk. First walk allowed by Leake. That'll bring up DJ LeMahieu. This is a double play ball. Phillips with the bare hand grabs it, throws to first. DJ LeMahieu with a 6-4-3 double play. That'll bring up Tulowitzki.
Frage.
Yes, how many was there?
Home run leader in 1902.
6.
Sox Seabold with 16.
Wow.
Sox went deep. I love it. Left-handed hitter, too, wasn't he? Pole guy.
Yeah, probably hooked a few down the pole.
All right, George, here's your trivia question. Mark, you can chime in also on Babe Ruth. What did Babe Ruth hit against left-handed pitchers in his career?
He's looking it up right now. I'm going to say 388.
326.
It sounds like a trivia question played with the kids at home.
That's how you knew that. It was stuck in your mind.
Oh, I just called it up.
Wasn't the first big home run hitter somebody named like Home Run Baker?
Oh, yeah, Homer Baker, and he hit like 8 home runs or something.
Well, I think for the Phillies.
Curveball's high. Home run Baker hit hit a career high of 12 home runs in 1913. He hit double digits in home runs 5 times, 10 on 3 occasions, thus the name Home Run Baker. First inning, the Rockies would get a run. 2-out double from Michael Kadire. He sat on that curveball and he ripped it down the third base line. Dickerson would score. Second inning, Nolan Arenado at the plate, and he loses one to left, his 10th of the year. 2-0 Colorado. But Tyler Chatwood ran into a problem against Shin Soo Choo, who hit a 2-run home run, his 18th of the year. We're tied at 2. Cooney Lexus, where luxury has a new address, now open in Greenwood Village. Jack Hanahan against Adam Ottavino. Ottavino on for Chatwood, who hurt his thumb when he instinctively reached up on a line drive through the middle of the diamond by Mike Leake. It caught his thumb. He hung around for 3 more hitters, 2-run home run and 2 walks. And then Walt Weiss came out and training staff, and he was removed. Base hit to right for Hanahan. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Only 2 players have 2,499 hits, 550 doubles, 350 home runs, and a .310 lifetime average. Todd Helton is one. Can he name the other? Homers, doubles, a lot of hits and a big average. A hint, you've heard of this other player. He had a catchy nickname.
Well, that's really a big hint.
Yeah, he had a catchy nickname.
You've heard of him.
Well, I'd hope so.
Zach
You
Kozar.
got something better than that
No,
for a hint?
I'm stingy today.
Okay. Keeping them on the edge of their seat.
Good pitch. All right, George, here's your trivia question. This is a personal one. George Herman Ruth, better known as the Babe, hit third in the lineup over 6,000 times. The second most common spot for him to hit was
fourth.
Fourth, right. This is in the air to center. Dickerson is there. Or Blackman is there, excuse me. One out. And Kozar's retired. And that'll bring up Lee. He hit fourth 1,842 times in his career. What was the third most frequent spot that you would have found Babe Ruth in a lineup?
One. Leadoff.
He batted leadoff in one game. He had 3 plate appearances there. That is not accurate. Mike Fox, our producer from the truck, said fifth. A very natural guess. He had 16 plate appearances in the 5-hole in his career. That is not correct. Mark?
Drew, it's got to be ninth because he pitched a lot.
Mark, that's why we love you. You
Yeah.
always have your thinking cap on.
Pitched
By the
in the
way-
1918 World Series for the Red Sox.
By the way, as I sound like a first grade teacher, thinking cap. What is a thinking cap? I always wondered that.
George, did you get one of those this season, a thinking cap?
I did not get a thinking
When's the
hat.
last time you got a hat or a cap?
Last week.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a camouflaged hat last week. It's getting to be hunting season. I need more camos. Send them out.
Well, certainly didn't help with the thinking. You're an old pitcher. He hit 9. He hit 9.
I'm waiting for more camo hats
Okay.
for hunting season.
285 at bats. Caught. Double play. DJ got to the bag first. Double play. Nice play by Ottavino. Elton will have his second at bat in his pursuit of career hit number 2,500. AT&T trivia question again. Only 2 players have 2,499 hits, 550 doubles at least, 350 home runs, and a .310 average. Todd Helton's one, and your time is up. The other, Stan the Man. 3,630 hits, 725 doubles. That's ridiculous. 475 home runs, 331 lifetime average. We recently lost Stan. Inducted in 1969 into Cooperstown. That's good company. It's nice when you're one of two.
Well, let me ask you a question then. How's the guy not a Hall of Famer?
He's a Hall of Famer in our
Come
book.
on. Kidding me?
Here's the 0-1 on Kadire outside. Michael ripped that RBI double down the left field line with 2 outs in the first. His 69th run batted in. And he has himself another base hit. George, you have Helton bunt here to build a run?
Probably not. Blake's going to throw him down and away, throw the hit and run on, watch him serve it through the left side of the infield on the ground.
A lot of cameras out again, a lot of folks standing. You know, the beautiful thing about competition, George, is that no matter what your resume states and how long you've been doing this, you still get anxiety at certain times.
Sure you do. How long did it take Jeter to get to 3,000? Remember that?
Yeah.
A-Rod on the home runs. I mean, guys start pressing. It's not pressing, but you just want it so bad. You just get out of your comfort zone and do things you normally don't do.
1-0, 2-0. Well, this is the most favorable count Todd's had since he arrived at 24.99. First 2 at bats after 24.99. He was sitting 0-2. He fouled out on the first pitch he saw in the first inning down the left field line. So here we go, 2-0 on Helton. That's in a similar spot, but it's going to move into the crowd.
Todd doing a little motion with his arms right there about getting that hand forward on top of the baseball versus under it. Letting that elbow drop inside, the wrist going flat, and you get a kind of a loop in your backswing. Great hitters fix themselves.
Dyer at first, nobody out in the Rockies half of the fourth in a 2-2 ball game. Outfield deep. And this one is going to be taken out of play also. There's some wind up high blowing from right to left, and that actually helped out Helton there. Really, both of those pop-ups looked like initially they were going to stay in play. Two and two. Down the line.
Last night, Greg Reynolds got him out with that cutter in. He swung out over the top of it. That stayed pretty flat. Todd jumped on it.
Dyer stretches his lead a little bit. Another 2-2 outside, 3-2. Dyer takes off and Helton strikes out. Safe at second. So with one out, Dyer in scoring position for Arenado.
10 stolen base for Dyer on the season. They're wondering if Todd got out and had interference as he threw, but he tilted the head. Brian Honora threw out the hands immediately, and Dyer safely at second. You watch Brian Honora. Well, you'll see it maybe here in a second on the next replay, where he threw out his hand safe sign. In other words, had a clean shot to second. Todd didn't interfere.
Arenado, a solo home run in the second inning. This is Mike Leake's first ever appearance at Coors Field. Side on Nolan. Rockies yesterday held to 7 hits. Base hit a moment ago by Dyer. The Rockies' 4th this afternoon. The air right field, pretty well hit. Bruce reaches up, makes the catch. Dyer will tag and move to third with 2 outs. Torrealba will take his turn. He got caught looking at a great curveball. Best curveball that Leake's thrown so far today. And that's gloved by Leake. All for the Rockies in the 4th inning. We'll go to the 5th, tied at 2. Brought to you by the Ford Focus. It's 40 miles per gallon of pure fun. Start more than a car. Ford Focus. Go further. By Comcast. Advertise your business locally on the network's People Watch. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Now the final weekend, at least semi-officially, of summer. Hope everybody's enjoying the holiday weekend. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout from Coors Field. We go to the 5th inning. Top of the order for the Reds, Shin-Soo Choo. It was 2 for 2, a single and a 2-run home run. That came against Tyler Chatwood, who had to depart after 2+ innings with a thumb injury he suffered trying to field a baseball. Adam Ottavino misses on the first delivery.
Ottavino can work through this inning. You're looking at 3 innings pitched for Ottavino. Help that bullpen out quite a bit. And then you'll probably go to Outman after that. A number of guys down there. Jeff Francis, Lopez. Scahill with 3 is probably the only eliminated guy from yesterday's work.
Line drive toward the gap, and Choo runs well, and he is headed to second, in with a double. Choo's 3 for 3.
Now he's only 1 step away from that cycle too. Now all he needs is a triple.
Yeah, that tends to be the most difficult portion of it. First question for Toyota Talk in our 5th inning. Have the Rockies ever had 2 15-game winners in the same season? That's a good question. The answer is no. Or was it once? They had 3 in 1 year.
2009 when
De La Rosa 16, Jason Marquis, Ubaldo Jimenez with 15. I stand corrected. Thought it was 14. Well, they have a chance this year, and that's why I know that question came in. Because
Chacin
has 13 and De La Rosa has 14. Brandon Phillips. I thought he pulled the bunt back. Evidently he did not. Actually, let me correct that. De La Rosa has 15 now. 15 and 6. One and 1 on Phillips. Does no one have a better chance for the Gold Glove or Rookie of the Year? Much, much better chance in my mind for the Gold Glove.
And again, you know, the other day we were talking about that a little bit, and they've got a runner in a tie ball game. And when I started to look through some of this stuff in the American and the National League for the Rookie of the Year, and I started looking at this, the average, Puig in LA 349, Nolan Arenado's 3rd in average. Nolan Arenado is 4th in runs. In doubles, 2nd in doubles with 24. Walks, Nolan's not in the category.
Just think the Puig.
Home runs with 10 now. He's 5th. Hits, he leads it. So I mean, it's not like it's out of the realm that he couldn't get in there. I just think with Puig's popularity among writers, which you know, that's why they'll push that choice for him. Let's not include the pitching side of things. There's some young pitchers too that have done a pretty good job, but not what this young man's done with the bat. So, I mean, again, it's kind of in the eyes of the beholder and what they want to do with it and how they want to do it. Fernandez 233 earned run average.
See, he'd be the most for me.
Wins. Rue in LA was 13. Has 13 wins there, and he's got a 3.02 earned run average.
Phillips hits it in the air to center. Let's see if Choo would tag. Not deep enough. Yeah, just to finish that real quick, I think Puig's toughest competition will come from Ryu and Fernandez for Rookie of the Year in the voting.
Next question it comes down to is who's your pick for the Rocky Mountain Showdown? I'm for the teams from Colorado. That's who I'm rooting for. How'd I do?
You were politically correct, which is necessary at times.
Sure it is.
In our business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you always got a connection to a school of some kind. I mean, you know, whether it's your wife went there, your kids are a fan of that school, the neighborhood, whatever. I mean, you get persuaded for a lot of things.
I will tell you that most of the Rockies clubhouse pulls for Colorado State. And that's a long-standing thing. Scotty Garrett went to Colorado State. Scotty Moriyama went to Colorado State on the ground second.
Mark Gustafson. There's been a lot of guys out of Colorado State.
The late Kelly McGregor was an All-American tight end there. Yorvi Torrealba has adopted long ago Colorado State. Todd today was wearing a Colorado State t-shirt in the locker room. Jenny, for instance, is nowhere to be found today.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, she's right across, about 500 yards away.
No. She hosted the pregame show.
Can you find her right now?
I bet you she's here.
I bet you she's 500 yards away.
You think? You already talked to her? She left during the game to go over there?
Just saying.
Really?
Where's Mark? He'll fill us in. Mark knows all. Jay Bruce is going to get a pass from Mesoraco.
Torrealba telling everybody, knock it down. You got to keep it knocked down, giving instructions on the throwing side of the game as a catcher to his middle infielders. Am I throwing through? Am I going to third? Am I hanging on to the baseball? I really don't think you'll see Bruce try to steal a base. He's only got 3 on the year. See, she's still working. She's in her press box. Now, I'm sure she's tweeting and looking and hunting down everything under the sun. I'm sure she is. Foul ball up into the seats. Walt Weiss elected to walk one of their hotter hitters, Jay Bruce, to get to Mesoraco, the young youngster. 246 on the year, 8 home runs, 36 RBIs. He's flown out. He's hit into fielder's choice. It's 2 outs, first and third, and a 2-2 ball game.
Slowly hit the third, bare hand. Arenado's got him. Oh, what a play. Now you want to give him a gold glove?
I'd rather give him both.
What a play to keep this game tied at 2. Arenado robs Mesoraco. 2. What a play by Nolan Arenado to keep this thing even up. What's next brought to you by CenturyLink. The pitching matchups for the Dodgers. That series will begin tomorrow afternoon on Labor Day at 2 p.m. We're on the air at 1:30 with the pregame show. Kershaw and Bettis tomorrow. Ricky Nolasco has been good in the Dodger uniform since the trade for the Marlins. He'll go against Jhoulys Chacin, who's been outstanding, and De La Rosa on Wednesday against Ryu. Two very good left-handers. Charlie Blackmon at the plate against Leake here in the bottom of the 5th inning in a 2-2 game. Jordan Pacheco is going to pinch hit. Phillips will throw him out.
Really good job by Adam Ottavino. The next Purple Monday's tomorrow. That's right. Wear purple, win prizes, including autographed items. And the first 10,000 fans receive a Rockies purple T-shirt. That's tomorrow with the Dodgers in town. 2:10 start on Labor Day. Make sure you're here. Well, Lopez warming up for the Rockies down in the bullpen to come on. He came in the ball game last night, balked the 1-run in, and gave up a base hit to allow some runs on Nicasio. 6 runs, 4 earned on Nicasio yesterday.
Two and one on Jordan. Ground ball through the left side. Jordan Pacheco, another pinch hit.
Pacheco in a year, he's been the one to get most of the duty. He was 6 for 30 prior to that. Now 7 for 31 with 4 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year. Just try to not do too much with that sinker. Shot it through the side out of the reach of everybody, and the base hit into the left field by a diving Hanahan. And now you've got Pacheco at first and 1 out in the top of the order.
Dickerson takes a strike. Through the left side and on into left field, first and second.
Last night in the 8th inning with Greg Reynolds pitching, Corey Dickerson, who had previously popped up to the pitcher on a fastball up and in, This up and in fastball didn't get in. It was up. Dickerson made him pay for it. For Corey Dickerson, it was his second, third home run of the season. And RBIs 8 and 9 and 10. Reynolds tried to go back where he had success, and he didn't get there. Well, he didn't have any success with that.
Want to know on DJ. Strike. Looking to save money by using electricity wisely. Find out how the little changes add up at TogetherWeSave.com, your local Touchstone Energy cooperative, delivering reliable power, energy saving tools, and more. Tulowitzki on deck, 1 out in the 2-2 game in the 5th.
You know, the football game going on right across the street. Pretty good crowd here to watch baseball today. What a Labor Day weekend. You got some hardball going on. Thursday nights you had NFL football, and then you had high school football, then the Rockies and Reds, and now the Rocky Mountain Showdown. Pretty good weekend of sports.
Yep. This ball driven to right center field. It's going to touchdown and roll. 1 run is scored. Here comes Dickerson. He gets a green light. Phillips drops the ball. 2-run double. DJ LeMahieu. 4-2 Colorado.
Remember LeMahieu back in the first inning drove a ball deep to the right field fence. This time he drove it far enough where nobody could catch it. He got a breaking ball out over the middle of the plate from Malik. You see this ball start to break and then held up. DJ stayed right on it. Boy, you talk about focusing on the baseball and where it's thrown and then doing damage with it. One hops into that right field wall, then it's just off to the races after that. The Rockies throw 2 on the board. The pinch hit single by Pacheco. Then you got Dickerson, and then now LeMahieu's in scoring position. Just 1 out here in the 5th. Their bullpen will start getting busy. It appeared to look like Simon, the big right-hander, getting up down in the bullpen. LeMahieu is as fired up, clapping those hands over and over again to come through with a big base hit to drive in 2. This was Leak running off the field, slapping his fist into the glove as he went to back up bases and knowing he made a mistake and paid for it.
And you know, that's kind of like when Hilton shows emotion, you don't see a ton of it. DJ's a quiet guy. You don't see a ton of emotion from him. Behind in the count, he unloads a 2-run double to unknock the ball game.
And you can do some more damage here with the Rockies right in the middle of the lineup with Tulowitzki, Kadire, then help.
3-0. Ball 4.
Dyer coming up. He's already got a couple of base hits, a double to drive in his 69th and a single back in the 4th.
Brian Price to the mound. Second walk allowed by Mike Leake.
And the only reason you don't hear a lot about Brian Price and the job he does is simply because of here in Colorado, you only see him 6 times, 7 max. So a lot of times you don't get to talk a lot about Brian. Brian's done a nice job with his pitching staff. Their AAA pitching coach, Ted Power, another guy that's been around for a long time there, all on the same developmental page, along with Tom Brown, who's in Pensacola. Mark Riggins was hired by Walt Jocketty after 17 years in the Cardinal organization as their minor league pitching coordinator, has now come over to the Cincinnati organization along with Walt. Be sure to check out the Rockies Triple Play Pack. Pick any 3 ball games, including the September Fireworks and Red Sox series, and get a free New Era's Rockies cap with a purchase. Go to Rockies.com to order yours today.
Kadire rips it down the left field line. LeMahieu will score. Tulowitzki jogging a third. Kadire into second with his second double of the game. He's 3 for 3. 70th RBI for Michael. And that'll be all for Mike Leake, I believe. Dusty's on the top step looking to come out.
Put in the perfect spot in the left field corner, allowed everybody to move up. Second, third now. Dusty, you're right. Dusty going to go down and take his time going out. You want to make sure Simon is ready to go out of their bullpen.
Rockies have erupted for 3 runs here in the 5th. They have second and third with just 1 out. Todd Helton coming up.
Today, stick around for Rockies Weekly. This week, we'll get to know Rockies utility man Charlie Culberson. Learn how players communicated behind their gloves and recap the best plays of the month. With this Rockies Weekly today after the ball game. Yeah, Mr. Kadire coming through in a big way. And now Todd Helton's going to get his opportunity at 2,500. And he's going to do it against Mr. Simon.
Simon came into the ball game last night. This is 53rd game for him to appear in. He and Helton in their careers have matched up, tied 1 for 3. He does have a home run. Todd will take his shot at 2,500 again.
How nice would this be right here, except he's going to get intentionally walked, and this is not going to be popular.
No, not with a 3-run lead already, and then they're going to go ahead and walk him.
This is really unusual, George.
Well,
if you're going to walk a guy, you usually have the guy who's going to come out of the game walk him.
Usually.
In fact, I can't tell you the last time I saw a pitching change and then you ask the reliever to throw 4 wide ones.
Well, normally it has to be a strike thrower if you're going to do something like that, because if you don't, now all of a sudden he can walk in and run in a heartbeat with Nolan Arenado coming up right behind him.
Once you don't bring in a lefty, it's the right strategy, but why not have Leak do it?
Well, Dusty's trying to win the National League Central too, and I get the fact of why he's walking Todd Helton. I understand that, folks at home. You as a fan want to see the 2,500.
It's the right strategy.
There's no question there is. And Dusty obviously didn't want to go to one of the left-handers down in the bullpen and bring him into the game, so that's why he did what he did. '60 innings, 69 1/3 for Simon. He's walked 20, struck out 53. He's given up 7 home runs in those 69 1/3 innings. He gets Arenado.
Home run and a deep drive to right for Arenado. Bases loaded, 1 out. He was on that pitch.
Yeah, we've said this many, many times. Nolan Arenado among rookies, averaging 269, but with runners in scoring position, he gets good swings. He gets another one. It's going to be foul. Must not have tickets, but she's supporting it. She said, keep the ball. Gave it away. Good for her.
In the air to left. Tulo tagging. Should be plenty deep enough. Heisey makes the catch. And Troy will stride it home with the Rockies' 6th run. Good at bat for Arenado. 45th RBI. He's got 2 today, George. Point now. You're right, 46. Thank you, George. Forgot about that little thing called a home run earlier.
Yeah.
Torrealba, the 9th man to hit here in this very productive 5th inning. Ground ball, the 3rd tough hop, handled nicely by Hanahan, and he'll run to the bag. In the inning, the Rockies get 4 runs on 5 hits, and they lead it 6-2.
get his last at bat. He, of course, is the topic of today's Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. That man, number 17, one of 4 active players with 100 or more hits against 14 different teams. The others are all Yankees: A-Rod, Jeter, and Ichiro. Last weekend he came 4 short against the Marlins organization, so he's sitting at 96 against Miami and Florida. Hey, maybe that'll happen next year, but it's not going to happen again this year. So another little stat on Todd Helton, guys.
There's just a few stats on him. Noticing that. Wilton Lopez on. He's facing Chris Heisey.
Now, Lopez mentioned the other night, came into the ball game. He's got 65 and a third right now. An earned run average of 413. Trying to get through this 6th inning, maybe the 7th, and then turn it over to Belisle, the brothers.
Ottavino, a chance to get a W, George.
And Ottavino pitched very well. 3 innings, 3 hits. He didn't give up a run. 1 walk, no strikeouts. Mentioned a couple of times the Tulsa Drillers will be in the first round of the playoffs against Arkansas, the affiliate of the California Angels. Yesterday, Fred Nelson, who took over as manager for Lynn Cicada, Fred's ball club, the Modesto Nuts, are in the playoffs now. They played very well, 42 and 26 in the second half, and the Grand Junction Rockies will be in the playoffs after winning the first half.
And a base hit to left for Heisey. Time for a Coors Light freeze camp. Cincinnati had a chance to go ahead. Slow roller, Mesoraco, and not even close at first. What a barehanded play and a beautiful throw by Nolan Arenado. Not exactly the first time we've seen that. Takes me back to a conversation I was having with Chris Warren, the Rockies advanced scout, and Nolan was right there. It's in the dugout during spring training. Early in March, there's another base hit. 2 on against Wilton Lopez's Hanahan singles, and that'll bring up Zach Kozar. Anyhow, Warren was saying he's ready to win a Gold Glove right now, and he's kind of winked at Nolan. Nolan's standing right there, but he was telling the truth.
Well, it's, when you watch a lot of guys the way Chris Warren does, he's your advanced scout on video. He's seen every third baseman in baseball every night for 3 or 4 hours. So it's a pretty good judge and pretty good assessment of what's going on. You'd like to see it come into play here. Josh Outman up and firing to get loose in a hurry.
Ground ball to third. Nice pickup, and Arenado will get the double play. Cut it out. Is he amazing or what?
The good thing about Nolan and why he can make a lot of these plays, he's already got the scenario played out in his mind before the play happens. So that's why a lot of these you go, wow, how did he think of that? He's already thought of it. If I get a ball hit right at me and I get a chance, I'll turn 2. I'll make the play on my own. I'll touch third, fire to Todd. Exactly what he did. The big stretch and the close play at first base. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo.
How about single-handedly?
Takes you right out of the inning.
How about George single-handedly terminating an inning?
Yeah.
Or giving the opportunity to terminate an inning.
Well, he can do it.
This is Xavier Paul, who's going to pinch hit for Simon.
Manny Parra has been warming up down in the bullpen for Dustin. Xavier Paul just added to the roster today.
2-0 on Paul. Here's coming up tomorrow for Cincinnati. Billy Hamilton, he of the 6,000 stolen bases the last couple years.
Dusty said in the paper, don't expect him to play a lot. He's not going to. It's not going to happen. I mean, he's got Chu and he's got Bruce. He's got Ludwig. Where are you going to put him in the outfield? He was a shortstop, moved to the outfield because they felt like it was best suited. But Dusty made the comment in the papers yesterday. He's not going to play a lot unless I need a leadoff guy to start an inning or I'm pinch hitting or maybe steal a base late in a ball game. But he said, you know, as far as that goes, he's not going to get a lot of time while he's here, so don't expect it.
Line to left, base hit. Dickerson on one hop, and they'll have to hold the runner down by 4 runs. So Hanahan is at third, Paul at first, and that'll bring up Chu. And I don't think Walt, my guess is Walt's going to go and get the lefty to face Chu.
I would think so. Trying to map out your bullpen, but you got to protect it right now. And then the other side of that is I got a 6-2 lead. There's 2 outs. You know, if he does give up a home run, I'm still winning 6-5. I've got to go out and try to get what I can. And, you know, you put all these numbers in your mind beforehand and you're playing them, but Walt's not going to play any more games. He's going to go down and get the left hand.
I would have liked to have gotten a little more length out of Lopez. He gets 2 outs in the inning. They're 2 on. And Outman will come in and try to get the 3rd out with Chu coming up. Rockies up 6-2 in the 6th inning. Root Sports this Saturday. Tune in at 2 p.m. The Wyoming Cowboys try to bounce back after a near miss in Lincoln, Nebraska. They'll be hosting the Idaho Vandals in Laramie War Memorial. It's the best of Mountain West football right here on Root Sports. Cowboy and his Cowboy running mate Jeff Houston still recovering from a 3-point loss
at
in
Nebraska.
Lincoln. Yeah.
Wow. 600-something yards. You kidding me?
Josh Outman will try to get Shin-Soo Choo, who has a single, a 2-run home run, and a double today. 1st and 3rd, Rockies up by 4, and a slider for a strike. Good heater, and it's 0-2. Lefties hitting just .211 against Josh Outman.
Not a bad idea. Missed the location, wanted fastball down and away. Don't be disappointed with it.
because now you can go to that hard slider away, and maybe you got a little bit of the attention on Chu when you busted him up and in like that.
Good block.
But you don't want to go to a 3-2 count. There's not another right-hander warming up in the bullpen right now, so it's going to be left against Phillips, and that's not a good situation to be in as much as you would like the situation you're looking at right now. Left on left, get it out of there, get it over with.
Popped him up. Nolan Arenado in foul ground. Betting that he'd make the catch, and the Rockies keep Cincinnati off the board. 6-2, middle of 6. Brought to you by McDonald's. Get just what you need at just the right price with many of your McDonald's favorites starting at $1. I'm loving it. Second inning, the Rockies were up 1-0. I'll make that 2-0. Nolan Arenado with his 10th of his splendid rookie season. In the 5th inning, with the score tied at 2, DJ LeMahieu on a 1-2 count with a couple of his teammates on base. And he would unload a long double to right center field. And that would give the Rockies a 4-2 advantage. Michael Kadire, his 3rd hit of the game, his 2nd double. That drove LeMahieu home. Arenado would add a sac fly, and the Rockies with a 6-2 lead. Manny Parra is in now for Cincinnati, the former Brewer.
Well, a really good starter in his early part of his career. Now he's a situational guy. This is his 45th appearance, only 36 in the 3rd throw. Their bullpen already has a right-hander going down there. It appears to be LaCour. I could be wrong.
Final line on Mike Leake, 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. 8 hits, couple walks, 4 strikeouts.
Rockies leadoff man per inning tonight, this afternoon, I should say, in this ball game. 3 for 4. Home run, a double, a walk, a single, a couple of runs scored. Mix in some RBIs. Pretty good day.
Now Curtis Parks, big right-hander, he was up off and on 2 different times this year. A hard thrower with a decent slider. Was down in AAA Louisville. Was recalled yesterday and joined the club today.
Again, thank you for texting in your questions during Toyota Talk. Tracy Ringlesby will answer another one if you go to facebook.com/RootSportsRN. 3-1 on Blackman.
Parr's a little bit like Zach Duke. A lot of success as a starter. Duke a little bit more, obviously, been around a little longer. Then go back to the bullpen and then trying to reinvent yourself coming out of the bullpen. Manny Parr has done a pretty good job for Dusty Baker doing just that.
Full count. This is well hit to left center field, but Chu got a good read on it. He makes the catch. 1 out. Outman's going to hit for himself.
MLB TV is celebrating 11 years. Catch the rest of the 2013 season in HD quality when you're not at home. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv today.
Strike on Outman. Usually they're yelling from the other dugout, take the donut off your bat after that.
Yeah, exactly right, or white flags start coming up.
Call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. +37,000 yesterday. Nice Sunday crowd today. Rockies trying to take 2 or 3 from Cincinnati as they did earlier this year at Great American. 1-2. Making good use of his time up there, George.
Oh, he is. I'm watching some lady. She didn't catch that. Come on. She's got a glove on, standing up above the first base dugout, saying, I got it.
What a 1-2 on Outman. 2-2. That's strike 3.
An arm still there for Manny Parra, 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
You know what that means? Can hang around a long time.
Left hand throwing 94, you get a job every spring.
Guaranteed. Corey Dickerson, 2 for 2 and a walk this afternoon. He scored a couple runs.
Try to go back to that slider. Dickerson read it out of the hand, doesn't swing.
The end of the bat, 1 and 2. Two outs in the Rockies' 6th. They're up 6-2. That bat is no longer usable. Who Wants Tacos fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7 in a game, text the keyword taco to 720-720. When that does happen, Taco Bell and Root Sports will donate $250 to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. One and 2. And Corey with a good at bat.
Curveball at 82. Parra didn't give him another slider to swing at. And Corey did a nice job with it. Corey Dickerson 3 for 3 today with a walk in that leadoff spot. Looking to come out to the game, there's always great Rockies ticket deals available. Bookmark Rockies.com/specials and check back through the end of the season for more of those specials.
So Manny Parra will step out. We'll tell you about the pitching change next. Rockies up 6-2 in the 6th. People Watch. Go to ComcastSpotlight.com for details. Rockies have been out-hit but not outscored. They're up 6-2. Tyler Chatwood unfortunately had to lead the game in the third inning. Bruised thumb. Michael Kadire, a couple of doubles and an RBI. Again, if you're just joining us, Chatwood bruised his thumb when he was trying to field a line drive with his bare hand. Never a good idea. He continued for 3 more hitters. He gave up a 2-run home run and he walked 2. Curtis Parch in to face DJ LeMahieu.
Just brought up today from Louisville, joined this ball club to add an arm down to the bullpen. He'd been here earlier in the year. A record early in the year, 0-1 with a 589 earned run average. A big arm. He'll go 92 to 95 miles an hour. Worked on the slider in spring training. It got much better. At the minor league level this year, 1 and 2, 3.68 earned run average. Working out of the bullpen.
Dickerson at first. Ready to go, and he gets a look. Up the middle, but Phillips is right there. He gets knocked over by it. Safe at first. He lost his balance. And DJ has a base hit. Second for LeMahieu, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki.
They're trying to look and see if there's any movement. There was movement, so that's why Phillips went to go cover. He would never even got to the baseball. That ball would have got into the outfield for a base hit. So Tulowitzki with an opportunity to expand the lead here. The Rockies lead at 6-2.
Runners go and throw to third. Safe. Dickerson and LeMahieu pull off a double steal.
Dustin's going to argue this one. I think he feels like he tagged him beforehand, and Hanahan said something also to Adrian Johnson. Let's give it a better look here. You're going to catch it really close now to see if, because does he feel like if the ball beats you, then you got a pretty good chance. I don't know if the tag beat him though.
Yeah, you know what? I think maybe he got him. So I'd take it anyway. Dickerson's second stolen base on the season.
You know, it's
LeMahieu 17.
It's a good little ploy. Sometimes if you use that pop-up slide, George, you can pop up actually before you get to the bag. And it looks like you're safe when you're not. 2 ribbies out there for Tulowitzki. Here's Parch's 1-0, and it's in there, 1-1. Two and one. Troy has gone without an RBI his last 11 days. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, the average has not hurt because he's gotten a lot of base hits, but like you mentioned, the RBIs, surprising.
Hanahan throws out Tulowitzki. The Rockies lead 2 in scoring position. As we go to the 7th, they're up by 4. Brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company, a ready-to-eat energizing superfood you can add to any dish that's healthy and delicious. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Here's a different look at the Mile High City. Rockies enjoying a 6-2 lead as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Josh Outman continuing on. Got the final out in the 6th inning when he got Shin-Soo Choo. Phillips, Votto, and Bruce here. 2 lefties, and that calls for Outman to continue. And the first pitch to Brandon Phillips, who's walked twice, hit a fly ball to center field. It's in there for a strike.
Well, you don't have to do as much mix and matching only because you got a 4-run lead. Somebody's pretty upset down there. I'm not sure who it is.
Two-strike count on Brandon Phillips.
Dodgers on top of the Padres 2-1. The ball game's in the 8th inning. Dodgers looking to get into Denver tonight. Blake Kershaw tomorrow against Chad Bettis.
Listen to the transactions in Brandon Phillips' career. He was selected by the Expos in '99 in the 2nd round. Then he was acquired by the Indians along with Lee Stevens, who could swing it, Cliff Lee, and Grady Sizemore for Bartolo Colon, and a player to be named later who became Tim Drew, the least famous of the Drew brothers.
Right, played for the Rockies, actually.
And then he was acquired by the Reds in exchange for cash and a player to be named later who was Jeff Stevens, who I don't remember.
So what you're trying to say, pretty good player that didn't get traded except for 1 or 2 in there in the beginning. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, well, a whole lot. Cleveland got a whole lot for Bartolo Colon. And, you know, Bartolo's still pitching and pitching well.
Pitching really well.
Cliffley turned out all right. Sizemore, until he ran into the injury bug, was really good. And
I read the
this
other day
guy's
he's
a
going to try to
perennial
come back.
all-star.
He's going to try to come back. Sizemore wants to try to play again. Get it going again. Put it that way.
Two. Flipped foul. Got him.
Good out slider.
Strikes out Phillips on the slider.
You're talking about getting the pitch right where you want it to go, and that's exactly what Albert did.
Votto takes a strike. Votto has not looked good the last here in Denver, and he did not look good against the Cardinals. A little bit of a funk this week. Oh, 2. Strike 3. Painted the black at 94.
Well, Albert on his game today, obviously being able to place the fastball slider mix together. This pitch right on the outside corner did paint the black with it. Votto gets rung up, just kind of kick the dirt and head onto the dugout.
Jay Bruce.
You just don't know if something bothering him, if there's an injury or whatever else. But the guy since playing here hasn't played very well. These 3 ball games with the Rockies, got a couple RBIs, but not the same guy you normally used to seeing play the game.
Pulled to Todd Help. He's got it. Needs a little help from Outman, and he has that as well. Great inning from Josh Outman. 1, 2, 3, couple of punch outs. Todd Help, we'll see him with the bat when we come back.
Staff Sergeant Morrill and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Beautiful rendition of God Bless America. And it's time to check in with Mark Stout with the Rockies ahead 6-2. Mark?
Guys, I see Todd Helton heading to the on-deck circle. If you're wondering what the longest stretch in his career is without a hit, it was in 2002. He got 2 hits on opening day. Then from April 3rd to April the 8th, he went 0 for 19. He hasn't gotten to that point yet. We're trying to put the anti-jinx on so he can get number 2,500 here in the the next AB, huh?
And 0-2 turned out okay despite that early 0 for 19. Yeah, with 30 home runs and 109 ribbies. So we're nowhere near that. Kadire will lead it off. Michaels 3 for 3. Double, single, double, 2 RBIs. Helton 0 for 2 and an intentional walk, sitting on 2,499 hits. Kadire drove in the first run of the ball game with that double down the left field line as Dickerson would come around. And a base hit up the middle. And then in the 5th, he pulled it down the left field line once again to drive in a run. Michael chasing a batting title with less than a month to go, hitting .326 after the 3 knocks today. 17 home runs, 70 driven in. Curtis Parch on the hill.
Young kid, probably not a lot of history with Kadire or Helton, who's in the on-deck circle.
And the fastball in there for a strike.
Go!
1-1. It's in tight. 2 balls and a strike.
Slider at 83 miles an hour. This is the one pitch Parch had to learn in spring training. It was throwing a lot of fastballs, getting hit hard. Then all of a sudden, the slider appeared. Things got a lot better for him. Kadire, what a day he's had.
Outside.
Double, a single, and a double. Here he is leading off the 7th.
Left center field and deep and gone. Michael Kadire with his 18th. Make it 7-2 Colorado. A 4-for-4 day for the Cutty Man.
th career home run for Michael Kadire. A ball up out over the plate that a lot of people don't realize how much strength and carry he has on a baseball. Now it's Todd Helton's turn to get 2,500.
Yeah, Cuddy was bumming a little bit this morning. Sent his family back to their all-season home in Virginia with school starting. Son going to start kindergarten. Here's the 1-0. And Todd had a quality hack there, 1-1. Well, feel a little bit better with a 4-for-4 day. Two and one. Mark was talking about the 0 for 19. Todd just 0 for 7 since the home run. And he's got a favorable count, a fastball count, 3-1. Todd's worked under a few pitches that are away that he normally drives with authority to left. We've seen that today at least 3 times. Three and 2.
A little better swing there. The ball line shot straight back off of the screen. And old scout Tom Greenway signed Mickey Mantle, Bobby Mercer, Elston Howard said you see a ball fouled off straight back to the screen, right on the pitch, and not a lot of movement on that fastball.
Line drive, left field, fair ball. There it is. Helton digging for second. Safe. Wouldn't you know it? Number 2,500 is a double. Another goosebump moment provided by Todd Helton. And now he has the goosebumps as well. Only 96 players in the great history of this game have produced 2,500 hits.
Well, wouldn't you know, on a hard fastball away, on a favorable count, fastball count, Helton slices a nasty one right down the left field line. And then, yeah, here it comes, the double. Played off the wall, and here's the family's reaction in from Tennessee. I'm not sure Gentry knows what just happened. But she likes jumping up and down.
Brandon Phillips, I think, congratulating Todd. So important to him. And a little bit of a burden lifted. When I say important to him, every day that he takes the field, special to him with one purpose. So focused every single day. And here's the dugout reaction.
Our close friend Matt Belisle down in the bullpen. Yeah, he's excited.
Going to interrupt his work as Matt's getting ready to throw. This ball's well hit by Torrealba, but it's not going to stretch long enough.
On the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, how many times you seen that? The great hand-eye coordination of Todd Helton on the line drive down the left field line, and along with many fans on their feet, a lot of pictures being taken.
You know, it's so funny on the field. In all the years he's played, I can only recall literally a handful where you saw the emotion of the moment for Todd. The home run against Saito, the final out that sent the Rockies to the World Series. This is pulled by Blackman foul. And one of the 5 or 6 just occurred. It wasn't really a smile, but it was the fact that he took his helmet off and acknowledged the crowd.
Special player, not just to Colorado, but to the game of baseball.
Ground ball to first. And the Rockies are done in the inning, but home run by Kadire and a rather special double for Todd Helton. And another standing ovation as he jogs to the dugout.
Helton a few minutes ago, a line double down the left field line for his 2,500th career hit. And there's the breakdown.
Amazing.
You know what he didn't realize today? We're talking about other milestones. He didn't realize how close to 1,400 RBIs he is.
I know it.
He goes, how many do I need? I said 7. 1-1, Bilal to Mesoraco.
And I know it's tough on Matt Bilal now, very close and dear friend of Todd Helton. So he's probably wanted to run right over there and high-five him and everything. And, you know, guys in the infield, it was interesting when they were getting prepared for the inning Matt was throwing. It was just he and Torrey Alba, and the video highlight of Todd was going on. There's a line single up the middle. And all the guys were turning around. Todd didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. They were all watching the video highlights on the board. Leadoff single on Matt Bilal of Mesoraco. He'll have Heisey then. Anahan. Heisey, what a day. 3 for 3 with 3 singles. You know, the other day, a gentleman said to me, watch, he'll get his 2,500th hit. It'll be a double. And he's number 17, and it'll be 17th on the list. There's all these 17s tied to it. There it is. Amazing. Fitting, though. You said that the other day. Drew goes, watch, it's going to be a double. Has to be. Back-to-back singles against Matt Bilal. Heisey with his 4th hit.
That's the 5th pitcher utilized in the game by the Rockies. Jack Hanahan coming up. Chris Heisey with the 4 for 4 day. That's a career best in terms of hits for Heisey.
Oakland wins, Texas loses.
Oakland just completed a sweep of Tampa.
Oakland now just 1 back of the Texas Rangers. 78 wins. The Rangers are 79.
It's 2-0 on Hanahan, so that's given up a couple hits. It's fallen behind Jack Hanahan. And Brian O'Nora is bothered by something. Well, Todd Helton, as his custom, if there's a pitching change, if there's any delay, Todd always leaves the field. Now we're going to take a break because we may need an umpire break. (7-2) Colorado. Let me count umpires on the field. 1, 2. So maybe Field and Colbreth, who's missing, is getting equipment on. I think that's probably what's going on. Mark Stout, how you doing?
Good, guys. This is not umpire related, but you were talking about the Oakland and Tampa Bay game today, and did you guys know that Jamie Wright made a start today, his first since 2007? I just kind of found that interesting with, Todd and the quest for 2,500 and one of his original teammates making a start today for Joe Madden and Tampa Bay.
Jamie is going to go to camp next year again on a minor league non-guaranteed deal, and he's going to make somebody's club because he does it every single March.
That's for the last 9, but I'll tell you something else about Jamie too, is that what he'll do is he may do a favor. He does favors like this all the time. Tampa may go to him and say, hey, Jamie, look, we need 40-man roster space. We'll bring you to camp, but you're on the team. Type of situation. They've done that in the past with him too, and he's done pretty well in camp though, so that's why it seems like every year pops up on a ball club. And they're still waiting, quite honestly, for Field and Colbreth. I think they'll finish this game 3-man group.
Well, this is the 3rd time this year. I don't recall many occasions this has happened. Every once in a while an umpire will get sick or get hurt, and it's a home plate umpire and you have to make a change. This is the 3rd time we've seen it this year involving a Rockies game. And it usually takes about 10 minutes for the umpire to change clothes and get his shin pads and chest protector on, and the rest of his gear to go behind home plate. So we're going to take a break. Rockies are up 7-2. Helton with 2,500 hits. That's going to be his excuse as to why he's not taking a bath for a week.
Keith Duggar popped out on the field really quick. He's talking to Adrian Johnson and Jordan Baker.
Todd with the double, producing his 2,500th hit. Facing Buddy Bell, his former manager. Field and Colbreth now has a gear on. He's on the field, so we're going to resume play. Takes the lineup card from Jordan Baker, who was holding it. They'll operate a three-man crew. And umpires are used to doing this. They do it throughout their minor league careers. So they understand the mechanics of when they're working a three-man crew. And I just saw Jordan Baker look over at Adrian Johnson and then making sure that they have it together as to who has which base, rotations, etc.
Well, the hardest thing to do is come out two from behind and get behind home plate and umpire after you've been down to first base and finish up a ball game when you haven't been in any kind of a rhythm. You're not loose from squatting down, getting ready to go, and seeing pitches. It's a whole different look, a whole different situation for him. 2-0 count.
And we resume. Jack Hanahan takes a strike. Hanahan out of St. Paul, Minnesota. Same hometown as Joe Mauer. 2-2. Two on, nobody out. Slowly hit, Belisle. Good feed on to first. Safe.
Well, really nice play by Matt Belisle. The backhand spin, fire, and get it right on him. Tulowitzki with a quick exchange, but the hustle up the line by Hanahan, able to keep the inning alive at first and third, and just one out.
Zach Cozart. Two. And a base hit. And a drive home a run. 7-3. Cozart with his 51st RBI.
Yeah, that's going to bring up Ryan Ledwick as a pinch hitter now. Ludwig has some success against Belisle. He's got 4 for 10, 2 home runs against Matt. Dusty trying to pick a spot here with men on to use him, and this is where we ended up with first and second and one out. The right-hander up. Nobody going in the Rockies bullpen.
He's got great numbers against Belisle. Matt, a former Cincinnati Red. Swung on and missed. Three runs, but 13 hits for Cincinnati. The Rockies 7 runs, a dozen hits.
You can tell by that swing, Ludwig's only trying to do just one thing, too.
Get the ball in the seats.
Which is what you should be trying to do in the 7th inning. Rex Brothers will be pitching the 9th inning.
Got him. Good pitch by Belial.
Yeah, good
right down to Ludwig. How Far Do You Travel is brought to you by AAA Colorado. Nolan Arenado with a home run the 2nd inning that went 383 feet, his 10th of the year. Shin-Soo Choo coming up, single, 2-run home run and a double for Choo. Dropped a curveball on him.
Got after there. Yeah, 92 mile an hour with some late sink on it.
Here you go. They want to check it out at third. There's no third base umpire. They have to go to the middle of the diamond and Adrian Johnson. 2-2. Run in for the Reds, 7-3. Got it. So Belial strikes out Choo. A run on 3 hits in the inning. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies up by 4. This was hit number 2,500. Fitting that it would be a double for Todd Helton. And then the reaction from his teammates and from the faithful. The Rockies leading 7-3 on the afternoon that Todd Helton produces hit number 2,500. Logan Ondrasek is now in the ballgame on the hill. Derek Robinson is in left field, just called up today. Ondrasek pitched earlier in the series. Josh Rutledge is going to pinch hit. It's 9-1-2. Josh just got called back to the big leagues also. Been a rough year at the big league level for Rutledge in his sophomore season. Sent down twice, but Colorado Springs, 371 average.
Well, hard to ignore it. 4 home runs, 25 RBIs. His last stint since being sent down there.
Hit it hard, but right at the pitcher Ondrasek. 1 out. That'll bring up Dickerson. Parch went 1 1/3. Ball's pretty well hit left center field. Robinson and Chu. Two gone. DJ LeMahieu coming up. DJ's got a couple hits. 2-run double in the 5th inning that gave the Rockies a 4-2 lead. Then he had a single and a stolen base in the 6th inning. 17 stolen base for DJ. This has been, it's going to turn out to be, George, a very fine season for DJ LeMahieu. And we just saw Rutledge a moment ago. For Rutledge, not the sophomore year he would have liked. He had the starting job early and he just struggled with the bat in particular. DJ took over and he has been very, very solid offensively, and he's been borderline outstanding defensively.
He has been, and I think, you know, everybody said what happened to Rutledge. It wasn't so much what happened to Rutledge as was that this guy was hitting 375 in AAA and making all the plays.
And add to that there's an added dimension to his game this year with 17 stolen bases in a little more than half a season. Pretty impressive. 7-3. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By StubHub fans, next time you plan a trip to Coors Field, head to StubHub where you can find great seats and earn great rewards. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get you 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. From Red Rocks, we make our way quickly to lower downtown Denver. The Rockies ahead 7-3 on what has been a very special afternoon. For more, here's Jenny Kaplan.
You nailed it, Drew. I think we have plenty to talk about coming up on the Toyota postgame show. We're going to start with a double does it. It was vintage Todd Helton getting a double in the 7th inning. That puts him 17th on the all-time doubles list. More importantly, that was hit 2,500. We will be all Todd all the time on the Toyota postgame show. And, oh, guys, side note, we should probably talk about Michael Kadire, huh? The Cuddy Badger, 4 for 4 tonight with 3 extra base hits. He's a nice teammate for not completely stealing the show from Todd Helton.
He almost did it, but not quite. All right, Jenny, we'll check back with you shortly. Rockies need 3 more outs. They'll ask Rex Brothers to get them.
Not a bad guy to try to get those last 3 outs on the winning side of a baseball game. 7-3 right now, 14 of 15 save opportunities, and an ERA of 1.43. He'll catch the right-hander Phillips, and he gets 2 left-handers in a row, Votto and Bruce. Now you got Culberson in left field on the switch.
Strike 1. And that's going to be a base hit for Phillips. 26 combined hits today. Votto's 0 for 3 and a walk. Crowd of 30,594 got to witness in person Helton's 2,500. 2-0. Fly ball pretty deep left field. Culberson at the wall will make the catch. And a frustrated Votto slapping his hands together violently as he goes back to the dugout.
Let's take a look. Corey Dickerson coming around first base here. Kind of pulled up, a little bit of a limp here. You see kind of a grit of the teeth, and walk back to the bag and head on into the dugout.
Bruce takes ball 1. It looks like you can have another outfielder down for a little bit, potentially. Two. Fully hit. And just take the out, the easy one, and that's what Brothers does. 2 outs with Phillips at second base. Evan Mesoraco at the dish. 1 for 4 afternoon for Mesoraco. Tulowitzki and Phillips conversing. I said it earlier this week. Brandon has a good time playing baseball. That's the way it should be. You rarely see him out there without a smile on his face. Sure he's not pleased right now. His club's down 4 runs. Oh and 1.
Boy, what a pitch. Really good pitch that time by Brothers. Wow. Sure where that went to.
Inside at 94. Softly hit, but into center field for a base hit. That'll bring home the 4th run.
Now Robertson to get his first at bat for Cincinnati in this ball game.
Derek Robinson. Brought to the big leagues today. Got the double flap helmet. He's a switch hitter.
Minor leagues, you got to wear both flaps. You're not allowed to wear, you know, right-handed hitters on the left side, left-handed hitters. So these guys got to do it a lot of times. Some guys, hey, wear the same helmet, just wear a double flap.
This is his first big league at bat. It's not his first big league at bat. He didn't have any last year. Must have been up earlier. That's a strike. 1 and 2. Now, he was up for a while earlier. Let me correct that. Done this year. One and 2 the count. Rockies had a 2-0 lead. Reds caught him when Chu hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd. Rockies got 4 in the 5th. And there it is, the strikeout of Robinson to end the ball game. Rockies win it 7-4. On the afternoon, the Todd Helton produces career hit number 2,500. Adam Ottavino gets the victory. The loss goes to Mike Leake, who's 11-6. Today's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery. The game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Todd Helton, his first couple of at-bats made outs, an intentional walk, and then on a 3-2 pitch, he lined one down the left field line. And it was also career double number 584. Close friend Matt Belisle and his reaction, along with more than 30,000 others at the ballpark. And let's go right now to the field. Mark Stats with Todd.
Baseball's a special game because of special players. This is a special player for Colorado. It's Todd Helton. Congratulations, Todd. What was going through your mind when that ball came off your bat?
Well, I was just hoping it stayed fair. It seemed like every at-bat, it took longer and longer. So it was finally good to get a hit right there.
We saw the reaction of your family, of your teammates, and of the fans here at Coors Field. Let's start with Christy, Tierney, and Gentry and their support.
You know, they're great. Seeing the girls when I go home, it's something special. Even after a bad game, you go home and you see them, and it just lights up your world. So all my thanks to them, to my wife. She's been with me through it all, and she's great.
There's one of your teammates, your Torrealba.
That was cold.
I know that you see them as much as your family, and you have over the years. They're special too.
Yeah, they are. The teammates, they're great. The guys are special. We got a special group of guys right now. We just got to finish strong.
A lot of these fans here have seen you from game one here in Colorado. Let's hear it for Todd. Let's hear it for the fans.
I appreciate it. Y'all are great. Makes it fun to come to the ballpark every day with the fans that we have and playing in this great ballpark.
2,500 hits for the greatest Rocky of all time. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
And let's go back upstairs to Drew.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. Todd Helton, oftentimes a man of few words when talking about himself, but you can tell he was moved by what occurred the other day when he produced the 2 home runs and 6 RBIs, and then today when he produced the double and hit number 2,500. Plenty to do on the Toyota postgame show surrounding Helton's 2,500th hit as the Rockies prevail 7-4. And out to center field we go. Jenny, it's all yours.
Hey, thanks so much, Drew.